Book 1, Bazur's Plot, Chapter 24, Plan for the Day. Tara cleared her voice. It looked like Tara was our mission leader. Everyone seemed also happy with that. The leader position is not always much fun. I was grateful to have Tara taking the lead, and that meant she was thinking ahead all the time and making sure everyone was safe too. Okay, since we have new members coming in now, let's go over the Bazur plan and create better plan for tomorrow for uncursing that does not drain Sarah and Jack. She looked around the fireplace and everybody nodded. Let me first go over what we have already settled, and then let's talk about tomorrow. So far, we have decided that when Capritor scouts get knowledge of Bazur or any of the cursed army members, we will hide and make sure we are safe. The longer he does not know we are uncursing, that is our advantage. More nodding. I have been thinking, should we try to understand as much as we can safely can get information, any information of the cursed army creatures of our friends? Dora asked, what are you thinking? Tara replied, well, we have one sighting that they seem to be like they're under some kind of curse, not being themselves, acting more like robots, but still able to speak to Bazur and do tasks. So maybe if there's a way to safely observe them, would bring us more information on how also to uncurse them once the time is right. We cannot do that right now. We must first get our creatures uncursed from non-living things. Creatures were looking at each other around and clearly thinking. I say creatures because I don't know what else to say of these Myria folks, how else to name them. I did not sense anyone being scared, just more thoughtful. Tico, Capritor spoke. We have many who we need to protect and hide. How about we divide the task so that we arrange the primary task who will protect and hide whom, and who is the backup. Then the rest who don't have tasks and the backup ones who are not needed for protection do scouting in their selected way, but ensuring not to get caught and in a safe manner. Tara nodded. Pico, that is a super good idea. I propose that I will not have a protection task at all, since I can hide myself 1 meter away into shadows, and there's no smell of me to smell. So I'm just darkness, and I can be very close if needed. Others nodded. A lively discussion started who needs to protect who and how. Morburns really wanted to do spying, but after a while it was decided that since they were so fast and strong, they would take me, Jack, and all the elf medics as primary protection tasks. Also, if we happen to have some awakened ones at the moment with us, would need to be hidden and protected by Morburns too. They looked happy. It was very clear how much they were respected among everyone. Capritors, Ta and Tora were left to do the scouting, but Tora had secondary task to protect with 2 of the Capritors if Morburns were too far away or we had too many creatures uncursed already that needed to be taken to their homes or hiding. I felt like a baby that needed protection, I said. I am sorry that I'm not more useful than in hiding and defending. Just hiding and not defending. Deepclaw Morburn cut me straight off. You are returning our friends to us. We are all missing loved ones. It is not worth risking this new opportunity to get them back. We are happy to ensure that you 2 are safe, and we can get so many loved once back. I am sure you could defend yourself to Bazur, since you are humans and clearly you are wizard and witch. But it is not worth it now to find out. I saw that he was in deep emotion, and I said, "Oh, I did not think it that way. Thank you for your words. It makes my task so clear. Thank you." I went to give a hug to the massive bear. I guess they are bears. Look similar to bears. I maybe was only hugging his belly button and a little bit of the uh, belly, but I did not care. I wanted to show my appreciation to him too. I felt from his body that he was surprised, but soon I felt his huge paw-type hand patting my back gently. Tara said, smiling, "Now that is settled, that brings me to tomorrow's action plan." She looked at me and Jack one after another, said, "We need to figure out how to get you to saving your energies. Seafarer, do you have any ideas?" Everyone turned to the river where Seafarer's boat was slowly riding waves. "Yes, I think we need to go with my first thought. I had Sarah and Jack do checks together so that one checks which is the living one and the other one is uncursing. And then they can also switch tasks. Also, you need to have scheduled stop and eating schedules so that they will get more physical energy. One thing to add to the food would be chocolate. That is always helpful, restoring energy. He looked now to Elindra. "Do you have any emergency or energy reservation potion in your repertoire, which they could take until they learn to do energy regulation on their own?" Elindra took her huge pouch and looked inside with wondering look on her face. "I have something, of course. I have not just tested on humans before." I started to laugh. "It is okay. We don't mind to be your test objects. Or what do you say, Jack?" He also started to laugh and nodded. Seafarer said, "Well, that's good. See, Elindra, how many days they need help, but I'm sure with the speed they learn today that they start to regulate their energy soon." Elindra noted, "I will give potion for them in the mornings until it is no longer needed." Tara spoke again. "Good. The tasks up to uncursing are clear now, and the plan to support Jack and Sarah to stay in good energy. But then, the ones coming out of curse are feeble and need care. They also need to be transported to their tribes or somewhere to recover in peace. Clearly, the cursing is having an effect on Myria creatures, but thankfully they do not remember being cursed." Everyone nodded. Arnor, the underground elves elder, stepped up and said, "We take care of the first medical potion to help them to recover enough to travel. We are 4 all together, so we can take care of our own creatures until they are ready to travel as well. Assuming we don't have Bazur threat ongoing." Tara spoke. "Good note. If Bazur comes, the protection plan overrides our healing plan immediately." Everyone nodded again. Capritor Stico stepped forward and said, "We take care of scouting, but if there is a small creature needing travel, we can also help. However, if that becomes frequent, I will call more Capritors to help since scouting keeps us safe." Morburns deep close spoke. He did not need to stand. He was so big anyway. "No, you need to do the scouting only for now. You are so fast and you keep absolutely no noise in this jungle. And it is amazing how you move here. It is better if you keep scouting and keeping the operation safe." A lot of approving mumble came around. "I think it's better if we Morbarons now take care of the transport unless it is elves that can use the tunnels. He looked at the Arnor and spoke. Do you think that all the different elf tribes can be transported through your tunnels? Arnor replied, yes, there is no problem. It is better we use different ways to transport anyway. So it stirs less the wood, and Bazur scouts do not have a clue as long as possible what we are doing. Approving murmurs again coming from all directions. Now Tara spoke. What do we do when we have fairies or other small flying creatures? They cannot go to tunnels. That would be horrible for them. They have been already punished to be still as a rock or something, and they may not be able to take well being transported in closed places. Also, they may not be able to hold on to more bear and transport due to lack of strength. Everyone fell silent. I could not think absolutely anything. I had seen few of the fairies, and they were so tiny. It was not like they were large. They were so fragile and little. I heard there was a bigger one as well. I could well understand that creatures like that could not go underground. It would be too dramatic for them. Seafarer spoke. Not that I know what all creatures live here, but I have seen a couple of bizarre-looking birds flying near me when I have been fishing. I kind of got a feeling they wanted some of my fishing catches. What are those? Could they help? Or are they in Bazur's team? Tara's eyes lit up. Yes, that would work. They are flicking gurkies. What? They are flick-win girlkies. Flick-win girlkies. The crowd looked at her. And many were asking at the same time, how do you know that? Tara said, I have been in the first woods a lot. Seafarer has not been scaring me, and since nobody really sees me unless I want to, there has been no problem traveling in many rivers and lakes in the first woods. Seafarer looked a little bit shamed. Yes, I have not liked any company for centuries. I must say, it has been great to be with you now. Everyone smiled and looked back to Tara, who continued. They are about the size of big seagulls, and they are quite moody and funny. I think they almost lost some members to Bazur, so I think they would be interested to help. I need to borrow your boat, seafarer, to go see them. They will not come to us. I cannot have you in the boat either, since you are scary for them, so they will not approach me if you're there. Seafarer looked scared. I stood up and handed him to the boat my last medicine for land sickness. He looked immediately relieved and took it right away. I asked Lindra, do you have more land sickness medicine for Seafarer when he leaves home? He needs to walk about 15 minutes before he's back in the waters in the first wood. Lindra noted, not to worry, I have plenty here now. Tara said, good. So I will leave to find flickering gulkins. I hope we could get a couple for our crew. I don't know when I'm back, but I'll try to be back in the morning. Seafarer looked at Tara and his boat with a sad expression, but he did not say a word. Tara spoke. Seafarer, here. You have hammock for night, so that will keep you waving and you are not touching the land. Jump in. You feel it is not too bad option. He nodded and climbed in. After a while, he seemed to be happier, slowly swaying there. Elintra took her massive pouch again and said, Jack and Sarah, come here. I will fill your pouch, Sarah, with some medicines, and Jack, here's one for you. I will also teach you how to use them. You will not need this tomorrow, but if we get separated, it's good that you also have a small reserves of medicine to heal those who are in need. We both nodded. Jack asked me, do you have those leaves to help you remember what is still left? Do you have them left? I nodded, and we both took one. Elintra started. First of all, the pouches are magical. You can ask them to provide the help for the case in hand. But sometimes, if the answer is no from the pouch, think what you did ask. It may be that you asked something that can be interpreted to too detail, and the pouch cannot help in a very detailed situation. For example, I am bleeding now, and you ask something about bleeding for the pouch, and the answer comes no. There's nothing for that. But if you need to ask something for healing wounds, and then the answer comes, yes, here's the bottle. I instantly said, that makes sense. I think I made too detailed ask at least once. Elintra noted. It happens a lot before you know how to use the pouch. Also, Jack, you don't need to ask aloud if the situation requires silence. You can just form the task in your mind, or the ask in your mind for the pouch. And when you hold it in your hands, then it knows you're asking from it. And the same way you will get the answer in your head. Jack looked puzzled. In my head, I said to him. Yes, try ask something silently and from the pouch, and you will notice. Jack stretched his hand to Elintra and for the pouch. She gave him a small pouch. Jack stared at it and clearly said something in his head. He looked surprised and looked at us. It spoke. Elintra and I laughed and said, yes, it feels funny, but you get used to it. Now that you know how to ask it, then retrieving medicine is just opening the pouch after the question and getting potion out. When you are done with it, return the bottle or jar back to the pouch. I yawned. I think it's time to go to sleep now. Tora pointed me and Jack to the other two hammocks close by, and we climbed in. I could hear shuffling around when the guards took their places for the watches and others went to sleep. I was grateful I did not have guard chores. I was so tired. The day had been amazing, and we had uncursed already so many creatures. I saw the moon and stars in the dark, dark blue sky night, and I put my head to an amazing pillow. I wonder where all these come from. Hammocks, pillows, covers. It is really magic. I smiled to myself and thought, good night, everyone. Tomorrow is a new day, and I fell asleep right away.